Hello, good vibe tribe. It's our July team call, and we're going to talk about Summit 2017. Just got back, so super excited, and jump right in and just thank those of you who attended. Um, what did we do there? I think we made stronger friendships. We got to travel. We got to hear speakers we would have never gotten to hear without this opportunity. We attended special workshops, workouts with celebrity trainers, the super workout with 20,000 people. I got to network with other coaches, meet new people, attend special parties, and special dinners. So super fun. I always think when I'm at things like this, like I could just be doing my day-to-day stuff and never have the opportunity to see Brendan Bouchard speak or see Chalene Johnson speak or be in a stadium that big filled with people who all want to help people. It's just really incredible when you look around at everybody knowing you're there for the same mission. It's really fun. So I just want to kind of go over a couple logistics if you're thinking about maybe attending next year or wondering like, where do I stay? Should I fly or should I drive? What if I want to attend Summit and I am on a really tight budget? Is that possible? So where do I stay? Summit works through a third party who organizes all the hotel stays. You will see in the group that I made today for next year, elite coaches and premier and five-star legend, five-star all-stars, a few other titles got to register today. So they give you a bunch of different hotel options to stay at. I did read in the roundtable, which was formerly known as the wall. Once you are five-star or above, you get added to that. So kind of cool, like all the top coaches are asking questions and stuff in there. And one woman said she used to live in Indy, and the mapping of where the hotels are is kind of off. She said the JW Marriott is actually connected to the convention center by a tunnel or, whatever. And it's right there. So she said that would be the best one to stay at. Can you guys mute your lines? I'm getting a little bit of an echo. But anyway, so she said before you book through that third-party site, make sure to take it upon yourself to do like Google Maps, see how far they are away because they're a little bit off. But it's nice to give you all these hotels. These hotels are where the shuttle bus goes, and it's really kind of a seamless process, really easy. Yes, you could record a bunch at the JW Marriott. I reserved one for Eric and I today, but we could do, once everybody starts booking, you do have to pay for the first night's stay on your credit card at the time of booking, so just think about that. Drive or fly. Next year, I think a majority of us from central Wisconsin, central Minnesota, whatever, I think we'll probably drive because it's only, I heard somebody say like 3 hours from Madison, which brings me to the next slide of being on a budget. It's going to be a lot cheaper to fly, the carpool, things like that. I actually did hear a few of the coaches from Madison might get a bus and drive down. I'm not sure, but that's definitely an option, and I think we'll start seeing plans develop in the next few months. But Summit on a budget. Today, the Summit ticket is the cheapest it's ever going to be. Stadium 7 hours from here. Yeah, that's not bad at all. It's definitely drivable. All the girls who were just in the car for 18 hours are like, yes, it's definitely drivable. So the tickets are the cheapest right now that they're ever going to be. You can get, saved a ton of money by driving. You can get a transferable ticket, although I don't know if I saw a transferable ticket. Maybe all tickets are transferable. Does anybody know? I should check that. But it's $145 right now, which isn't bad because we heard Brendan Bouchard speak, and to go to his workshops that he typically holds, refundable till the end of the year. Perfect. So go see Brendan Bouchard is like thousands and thousands of dollars, and we got to see him amongst a bunch of other speakers for a fraction of the price. It's just crazy. So it's definitely worth the money to buy a ticket, and getting down there and then sharing a room with people, it makes it pretty affordable. You can jump in, carpool, share hotel rooms, things like that. Okay, so it was my first summit. So anybody who attended summit for the first time, if you want to unmute and just kind of share what your experience was, I'll stop sharing so we can see your face. What your experience was, what you kind of expected, and what you took away from it. And just kind of unmute. Whoever wants to talk first can. No pressure.
I'll go first.
Okay.
So, it was my first summit, and the thing that I think really like stuck out to me was how much Beachbody just like puts into this network. It you know, it's just like they pulled out all the stops. It was so amazing. The speakers that they had, the content that they had, they really want us to be successful. And then on top of that, another thing that I learned is how giving like Teresa and Trina are, like how much they gave to us, how much they put on for us. Like Trina threw the Team Rockstar Fit Day, and it was out of the park, like amazing. And I didn't go to the Diamond Retreat, or the Diamond Party, but I heard the same thing about it. So, and then just listening to some other coaches that were talking, like not everybody has that. Not every team has that. And so I think we're extremely fortunate. And like this past week was just another like eye-opening, like how fortunate we are to have Trina and Teresa as our uplines. So I think like that was another big takeaway for me. And then also training, like not every team has the training that we do. When we went into those workshops, it was a lot like repetitive. I mean, it was reinforcing what was said, but some of the coaches that were sitting there were like, oh, I've never heard of this. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is stuff that we learn about every single day in our Rock the Business, in our team calls. So like, I think that it's just, we're very fortunate to be a part of Team Rockstar Fit and the Good Vibe Tribe and have everything that we do. And then the other thing was from Brendan Bouchard. One thing that I took away, I'm trying to find it because I had a bit like starred, highlighted, underlined, because it was like my favorite thing he said. It said, it was basically something, and it was talking about the difference between, there's not really a huge difference between successful and non-successful people. They both don't want to do the thing that it takes to be successful. So like a lot of our challengers, they don't want to work out. And a lot of days we don't want to work out. We don't want to eat healthy. The difference between unsuccessful people and successful people is the successful people do it anyway. They feel the pain and they do it anyway. So that was, and do not be afraid to talk to the people around you on your plane about Beachbody and where you're going. Because I just signed up a coach right before this call. The girl sitting next to me on the plane was asking me about Summit, and I added her on Facebook, added her to our sneak peek, and then we messaged, and now she's a coach on our team. So super exciting. Yeah.
That is insane. Like I have chills just because like I don't know. Like I feel like I'm very like, hi, okay. But like, and Corey, you never would have done that 2 years ago. Not a chance.
No. I am like, and I told her this, I was like, it's so funny because I'm a person who puts in my headphones on planes and like tries to pass out the second like we take off. And so it was funny that her and I just started talking. We talked the entire plane ride. We have so much in common. She's so excited to start working the business. And so, yeah.
So cool. So cool.
Yeah.
I'm trying to look here. Erica, do you want to unmute? You're my next one. First timer.
Sure. There were a lot of things for me that were really good takeaways. But I think the idea that was drilled in over and over was, why not me? And I think that coaching can feel a lot like an island. Like you can really feel like you're posting and you're running your challenge groups and you don't have, like, even though we're on a team, I think I don't always do a great job of digging into the team. So to meet you guys in person, and then to meet some of the coaches that I follow on Facebook, like some of them who are like top coaches, and to see that they're normal people was such a weird thing because I see everything they're doing and they seem just so amazing and so different, but they're doing the exact same things that we are, and they're normal people and they've gone through all the same things we have. So
That's one nice things about about those workshops is just seeing them, like Brittany Leggett just had a baby a few months ago, you know, and like she's how they said they still struggle. Raina Odell is she had her colon removed like 3 months ago, and today is going back into surgery to get something else done. I don't know. But for them to both be up on stage and just talking like, yeah, I have every reason in the world to not work my business right now, but they're still top coaches. Like, you know, it was cool. I agree. All right, I'm just taking notes. Okay. Cool. Gabby.
Hey, Bob. All right, it's complicated because I have my computer and I just got yelled at for being too loud, and my audio on my phone. Okay, so it really made me realize a lot of things. First, I am not a traveler whatsoever, and I'm so excited I did. So if you don't love to be away from home and travel, my fears kind of disappeared. I only personally know Megan out of the 5 people that I traveled with. I've never met Jess or Alice in person. I've only met Chelsea once, and we jumped into a team minivan, and drove 17 hours together and stayed in one hotel room with 5 people. And it's just amazing to get to know these people, in person and be like, wow, I feel like I've known you forever. My 3 top takeaways are that your failures are your growing spots, and you use your people's pain points, to attract them. So the difficult things in life, like if you're not happy with your stomach or things like that, to draw them in, called pain points. So we could go further in that probably eventually, but I could go on. Anyways, Brendan's analogy was about objections and people who haters. And for every 10 haters per se, or people who don't support you, you probably have hundreds that do. So don't let that one person affect you, and you could really be inspiring so many more. And my other big takeaway was that on social media, if you'd like someone's post, anyone could do that. But if you're commenting on somebody's post, it makes it more personal. So if you're trying to build relationships with people, just liking their photos or liking their statuses might not mean much, but to just drop a quick comment might open up a conversation with them.
I love those. It's crazy. I'm taking sheets of notes, and I was there with you guys. But it's just funny hearing it from, not funny, but cool. Everybody's different. Because when you said that about Brendan, the 10 people that might not like or not support you, and the hundreds of other people that do, I forgot about that, so you just said it. Okay, Josie, I know you're not a first timer, but you wanna? She's yawning. Did you drive the whole?
Sure.
You pulled an all-nighter on the way home.
Well, yeah. And on the way there.
Yeah.
Sorry, you might be able to hear Parker. She's listening to Moana super loud.
Hey, that's
so
my jam.
If you hear her in the background. This was not my first time at Summit, but I was just thinking before I hopped on this call how different I felt at Summit this year. I think last year was hard because I went in with so many expectations, and you can't really go to Summit with expectations because you have no idea what it's going to be like. And I mean, Summit is jam-packed full of amazing content, but I don't think my mind was in the right place last year. I know conference, the sessions I was totally tuned out of. And then coming into this year, I think I was just finally ready to really jump in and to like dive into the content and take away. I mean, I have seriously like 15 pages of notes or more from the speakers, from just Darren Hardy and Brendan Burchard. So I think my biggest takeaway was the root. I think, let's see, Darren said this. The root control factor to, sorry, she's really loud. Can you hear her? Okay. The root control factor to all of your outcomes are your choices that you make. And he talked so much about how our small choices add up, and even if they don't seem like they're making a big difference at the time, they really are becoming the big things in our life as they add up over time. And I think that was a really good point for me, and it just kind of solidified, like, I've been in the business kind of on and off, in and out, and I've been consistent at points, and then I just fall off, and everything that I've worked for falls off with me. So I think there were so many points where I've been like, oh yeah, that's why it is what it is. Like, that's why I am where I am. So that was what I got out of Summit, and I thought it was great to get to know everyone. I had an amazing time getting to know everyone and the new people on our team. So I was happy to see everyone there.
That's so awesome. I loved that too. I actually went live about the same exact thing in my Shift Shop group today. And then I was thinking about it the whole time during my workout. I'm like, I want to quit 10 seconds early on this one rep. And then I'm like, no, all my small choices lead up to my big choices. And then like everything I've eaten since I've left.
Hey, how are you?
Every little
Who's this?
hold on one second. There we go. Okay. But no, like he just said, you know, if you choose a salad or if you choose a burger and fries, sure, you're not going to like blow up and become obese from eating the burger and fries right away. But if you do that continuously over and over and over again, he's just like, that's how things like that happen. If you choose a beer over a glass of water continuously over and over and over, that's how people, you know, he's like, people with, he even said like addictions, it's a choice that they make repeatedly over and over and over again until it becomes a problem. He also compared it to this professional baseball player who never had chewed before, and then in 1986 had his first chew when he made it to major leagues, and then he went, yeah, you know, each of those chews he put in did nothing, and then he showed his like after the last picture that was taken before he died of jaw cancer. He also showed a little 12-year-old boy with a cigarette in his mouth. And he's like, that cigarette didn't really do much until it compounded over time. And here is what this person potentially looks like 40 years after they started smoking 5 cigarettes a day for the, 40 years in a row. And he was like in a bed with a tube in his throat. So it was just a really powerful analogy. Then he just brought it back to, our business, our health, our nutrition, and our little choices that seem insignificant every day that compound and over a lifetime are actually really important choices. So that was just, I love that. It was definitely one that stuck out in my head too. Okay, Alice, which I love your frame wall behind you, by the way. I always wanted to do that in my house and just can never get I can't get it right. Oh shoot, I need to unmute you. Hold on. Where are you? There we go. Okay, you're good.
Okay, so I literally had 5 people working with me on this wall, and we laid them out on the floor several different ways. And then my sister's boyfriend, he's very meticulous, and he measured. So every frame is exactly the correct distance in between. I have never, ever in my life hung pictures that way.
That's where I'm going wrong.
Everyone are symmetrical, and everyone has a reason why they are where they are. But these are my kids and my grandkids all behind me. So
that's so cool.
Yeah. So getting back to why we're on this call and Summit, a little sidetrack there. I didn't really know what to expect going into Summit, but I have read Brendan Bouchard's books. I have read Darren Hardy's book. And I listen to the Darren Daily every day, every morning. I listen to that when I'm getting ready for work. So I was really excited for those two speakers in particular. The one that surprised me the most was, I just want to call her Charlene Johnson because of her workouts. But when she came out, I didn't realize how funny that woman was. She made me laugh so hard. And all I can think about now is having sex. You know? I just thought that was so great. When she said, how do you get your spouse or your significant other to really support your business and where you're going in your business? And her answer was to give them more sex. It was just like, that's so true on so many levels. I mean, we could use this just not support for this business, but support for other things too, I'm sure. But Brendan's talk was probably my favorite. He gave us our 5 musts. So I must raise my ambitions, which I know that and feel like I have done that coming out of Summit. I look at my business so much different today than I did before I went into Summit. Live each day with intention. So where I wake up most days saying, all right, I know I have to get up, I have to shower, I have to get to work. I have, you know, my calls and my things that I have to do at work. I come home, I eat dinner, I do my workout. I don't live really with intention of going anywhere in my life. Like I haven't set goals. I know that I wanted to be a Beachbody coach because I wanted to inspire other people. I like to help other people, but I wasn't really doing a whole lot about that. And now I know this weekend I'm going to have, or by this weekend, I'm going to do more training. I'm going to have a plan on how I'm going to get to be. My goal is to be at least a 2-diamond coach by next Summit, so I can sit on the floor and not in the stands and walk across that stage. I just thought that was so cool to see all of those people. I mean, I knew there was going to be a lot of people, but I'm thinking in my mind 2,000 or 3,000 people. I did not expect like 30,000 people. It was overwhelming in some parts, but so, I don't know how to even describe it because it was just so surreal to me. I've never done anything like this before in my life. I'm relatively a shy person and don't do well in crowds. So for me to do this was just a huge thing to begin with, but coming out of it, I just feel stronger. And Brendan and Darren both talked about rejections, and Brendan's quote was 10 rejections, like 10 people can reject you, and those are the 10 people that you're going to focus on versus the 1,000 people who support you and the 1,000 people who you are helping. Or even, you know, you have 20 people in your life or 20 people in your family that just love you and depend on you and care about you, but you're going to worry about what these 10 people think. Don't worry about them. If this isn't their jam, it's not their jam, and you move on from those people and surround yourself with the people who can get you to where you want to be. Get rid of the toxic people in your life. I'm trying to go through my notes real quick here. But those were, I mean, I don't want to take up everybody's time, but those were some of the highlights. Charlene's 3 things. Borrowed words are for the birds. I love that because a lot of what I was doing, I would see somebody's post and I would literally copy and paste it either into my feeds or into my challenge groups. So I wasn't really being me, I was being them. They weren't my words. Don't tell me that you're about to sell me. So don't lead with, oh, I'm a Beachbody coach and, you know, we sell these shakes or we sell this equipment or whatever it is. Don't lead with that. Ask questions, get to know your customer or get to know them before you bring that into the conversation. Also, she had said that when you're using your social media, if you say a product, your newsfeed is not going to show up in people's news feeds. It goes invisible, which I wasn't aware of that. And then her third one was likes wear thin, questions are what win. So instead of just liking somebody's status or whatever they've posted, ask them a question about it, because if you're asking questions, then you're starting a conversation with them. And then if they're asking, and actually, I don't know, is Jess on the call? Okay, then I don't want to steal her thunder. So I'll let her talk next because she's got a great example of that.
Those were awesome takeaways. I love that you went in shy, not doing well around crowds, super nervous, and then you literally put yourself in one of the most huge conferences surrounded by tons of people, and you came out excited, strong, and motivated. Like,
Yep.
it's so cool. Awesome. All right. Ellie, I want you to talk about the Diamond Masquerade in addition to what you took away because it was your first time at Summit too.
Okay, I am on my work computer. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So, and my husband's making potato salad in the background. So, so this was my first time at Summit, and I was nervous. I was nervous to travel. I am also a huge homebody. I was nervous to travel without my husband. I've not gone anywhere without him in 10 years. So that was hard. But I got in the car and we did it. And so I thank Josie and Patricia for traveling with me. And gosh, it was so fun to get to know them. And it was so fun to get to know Erica, who I didn't even know existed, and her husband is just adorable, and they love each other so much, and it's so sweet, and it was just fun. We have so many great people on this team. It was just fun. The crowds were not as overwhelming as I thought they would be, but if you want Starbucks, you have to wait a long time. So that was cool. But the speakers, oh my God, everybody's saying they have a ton of notes, but I have so many notes. But to get to the Diamond Masquerade was so cool. I mean, Corey spoke about Team Rockstar Fit Day. Okay, so you go into like a conference room, right? So I was expecting like a conference room. Like I've been to conferences before. This was more like a dance studio. I mean, like there was like blue lights, and I swear the chairs had sparkles on them. I don't know what they were made out of, but they were sparkly, and they had. Okay, that was just Team Rockstar.
Let me pull up. I'll pull up the. Oh yeah, the Diamond. Okay, hold on. Let me just see if I want to see if I.
Well, that was just Team Rockstar Fit Day, and they had. It was just so well done. And then the Rockstar, the Diamond Masquerade thing was like on the other side of the wall, and they had this spread of hors d'oeuvres and like grilled zucchini, and just they had like little shrimp on spoons with people serving you, and you just felt like a princess. You just felt like a princess, and everybody was dressed up, and there were people doing dances I didn't know what they were, and this ballroom is just gorgeous. So this photo that you're looking at now is the photographer like standing up on the balcony taking a photo, and I mean, all these women in the room. I met so many people. I met people that I've like Google stalked for like literally years. Like I met Libby Burkhalter, and she's like, "Hi, I'm Libby." I'm like, "Oh, I know you." Like, I know who you are. Like, it was just surreal. It was surreal. I got to take a picture with a millionaire who I've never done that before, and it was just so much fun, and it was fun. It was very fun. And I felt fancy schmancy. I felt fancy. I'm glad I got back to Diamond. It was worth it.
Yeah, they don't go little on those, but like I agree. You expect to walk into like a cold conference room and like have tables and kind of just like sit around, and it was like over the top. And just to touch And just one thing to show how amazing Trina Gray is. Her and Vito had a falling out, and I'll explain to you guys why. I don't think it's a secret at this point, so I think I can talk about it. But if you follow Vito, he's a great guy. He's very entrepreneurial. He's an entrepreneur, and he has that mindset, and he is going for, he's got a lot of other businesses going on the side, which is great, and that's okay. One thing you cannot do is sell to your downline. You can't sell to other coaches in the team. So people looked to Vito as a very influential person. I myself do have, whatever. But then I was getting targeted too. I was getting emails for this other business that he has and felt kind of pressured. Got a couple of personal messages asking why I haven't done it yet. Things like that. What we think was happening is that he was using Rock the Basics in Vimify as a email funneling system for his other businesses. And Trina asked him about it and just said, we can't do this. People want to coach. They don't want to be sold to once they are a coach. So they kind of just agreed to disagree. Vito went this way. Trina went this way. Trina could have easily canceled Team Rockstar Fit Day and canceled the Diamond Masquerade, as that fell solely on her financially at that point of separation. It wasn't supposed to be that way. I can't even imagine what it cost for Trina and Jeff to host us at Team Rockstar Fit Day and the Diamond Masquerade. So Trina's just someone of such integrity and belief in doing the right thing, no matter who you are. Your business partners for 10 years together, and she stood up for what she thought was right for our team and Team Rockstar Fit as a whole. And in that's why her and Vito went separate ways. So for her to show up and just rock that event made me so proud. It was just really cool. So I just wanted to add that because I don't think people know that part. And I think that it just shows what a great person and leader Trina is.
Yeah. Real quick, I don't want to go too far, but I did want to say, I could go on. I could do a whole nother hour Zoom about my takeaways, and I probably will within my own team. But I just want to say, my big takeaway from, I have been in this business almost as long as you have. And, my success is obviously not where your success is. And I think there's differences why. But I think my takeaway from Summit is really about creating a vision for what you want, and creating a mission and sharing that with your team. And to be in this business and just being we'll see what happens, is you're going to get we'll see what happens kind of results. And if you want something out of this business, you have to be very clear about what you want, what you're going for, and what's it going to take to get there. And you need to know, so you have to go big and get, your mission and your vision, and then you need to break it down. What am I going to need to do every month? What am I going to need to do every week? And then break it down to what am I going to need to do today to get me to that end goal? And you need to be clear about it with yourself, and you need to be clear about it with your upline. You need to be clear about it with your downline, and you need to be clear about it on social media. The people that are following you and are going to be joining you need to know what they're joining and what they're signing up for. And that's what I really took away from, I love that, you've always been clear on your vision, I feel and I got from Julianne Candia, and so many great speakers and leaders, even Brendan Bouchard and Darren Hardy, and you just have to have a vision for what you want. And Trina always says 2 feet in. Well, what does 2 feet in mean? What does 2 feet in mean? So that was kind of my big, and Darren, I forget who said it, but it's not what you know, it's what you do with what you know. So it's just, there's just so much stuff. It was just so powerful.
No,
so I know a lot of stuff now. Now I got to know what to do with it.
Right. I know. My advice to those who are there, just take your notebook like one day at a time and break it down. It might even take you a week to get everything you've learned on that one page of notes out on, social media or out to your team. Just breadcrumb that little bits at a time. Don't try to put everything out there at once. It's going to be overwhelming, but I agree. I feel like I look to Trina, when I signed up with her, I had no clue who she was. I didn't know she was who she was. My trainer was like, I've heard of Trina Gray. You should check her out and sign up with her. Okay, I did. I knew nothing about her accolades. I knew nothing about her, but I know where she's going. And I know she's got a mission, and I know that's where we're going forward. And it's just comforting knowing we know where we're going. I know she wants to sign up coaches. She wants to help them become successful and see them become diamonds. And she tells us her vision for her kids and their future and where she was. Those of you who are at my house know where she came from. She had a vision and she got there. So I agree. It's just you feel more confident knowing what you're getting into if you know where that your upline's going. So I love that. Okay. Let's see. Jessica.
Did you say Jessica, Teresa? Okay, sorry, you had cut out, so I couldn't hear you. Hi, everybody. That's okay. I'm so happy that all of you are on this call because, oh, what an amazing experience, and I'm hoping you're all going to be there next year with us. I already bought my ticket today, yay! But like Alice and Gabby, I don't do a lot of the things. I don't travel without my in-laws or my children. I'm pretty much a stay-at-home, homebody, but it took a lot for me to put my big girl pants on and jump in a car with people and go. And Gabby is actually the only one that I hadn't met before, but it was so comfortable, and we did see each other at Megan's house, hugged each other, how are you, da-da-da-da-da, that kind of stuff, which was great. And it feels like a family. It really, honestly, truly feels like a family. And then we went to Team Rockstar Fit Day, and we were waiting to get our picture taken. And by the way, Summit all together is you are on the red carpet all day long. I felt like we were at the Grammys, the Oscars, it's a huge party, and they put so much into it. Trina put so much into Team Rockstar Fit Day, which was amazing. But sorry, I'm going off in tangents, but we're standing and waiting to get our picture, and I've never met Teresa before. And she walks up and just hugged me and asked how I was, again, we were old friends, which was just really touching for me. So it was great. Thank you so much. Made my day. And then Team Rockstar Fit Day was just awesome. Our elite coaches are amazing. They all had great content to share with us. Wonderful things. Their personalities are just so fun, and they're so humble, and their hearts are in it. And I love that they want to help us be better. And that's pretty much what they're doing, is just helping us so that we can build our businesses and we can be confident in ourselves. A couple of things that I took away from about social media, because I'm terrible at it. I hate doing it. My like page or my personal page, I just don't like to. I feel like people don't care what I have to say. But they really talked about that, about being authentic, being yourself, putting yourself out there. So that's a huge thing. I think it was Rachel Doyle said that she takes a day where she gets all dialed up and she does a wardrobe change. So she'll do different pictures so then she can go back later to use them with graphics when she wants to talk about things. And I thought, wow, that's a great idea, because not every day do we all look like rock stars. Some days we look like hot, sweaty messes after running around all day. So I just love that, to do that. I also loved just be real, and also to not lead with the company, lead with yourself. You don't talk about the products, because then, thanks, Gabby, we're going to scare people away. So I did a whole post the other day about how I hate my legs, but I'm going to start a new program. I'm going to follow the meal plan, which, yay, I've done awesome today so far. Just actually have to work out after this. But I talked about that. So then I had some people ask me, what are you going to do? Da, 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 da. And I had a couple challengers that actually started doing it as well. So those were really great. And everything else, everyone else talked about already. So I'm not going to repeat it. Those were my famous or fabulous takeaways too. But I hope that all of you will be there with us next year, because it's an amazing experience.
Love it. That post you did was so awesome. And it like was a scroll stopper because it popped up in my news feed and I was like, oh, and then I wanted to read more because you started out with before I would have cropped my legs out of this picture. And then she went in to share like why and what she was going to do about it. And it's like so many women can relate to that. And people do care what you have to say because a lot of people feel that way about their legs. I know my sister's one of them. She's always like, ah. But people can totally relate to you. So being authentic, you could have easily just posted a graphic of Shift Shop and said, starting Shift Shop today, whoop, whoop, or whatever. And instead you totally went a different route with it because of what you learned. So that's awesome. Way to implement. Okay, let's see here. Patricia. Or I skipped Chelsea. Never mind. Chelsea's next. Sorry. There you go.
What? Did you say me? Okay, can you hear me?
Yep, you're good.
Okay, my internet's going out. So kind of similar to what some of the other girls have said, my biggest takeaway from all of it, I really didn't know what to expect going into it. I kind of just tried to have like an open mind about it all. But my biggest takeaway was similar to Erica and probably some of the other girls, why not me? Why can I not achieve some of the success that these other coaches have succeeded, even with working 40 plus hours a week at my already stressful job? You know, and then more about that, just like creating my story and continuing to share that. Where was I before I joined Beachbody? Where is my life at right now? And where do I see myself in the future? What do I want for myself in this business and in my life? And I don't remember after what night it was, but shout out to Amanda's husband, Steve, because we got dinner with him one night and I sat next to him and he's so funny. And I decided to just, that night, I texted my boyfriend and I was like, listen, I have some big goals for myself and for my business. I would really like for you to support me. And surprisingly, he texted back saying, great, I can't wait to hear about it when you get home. How can I not only support you, but how can I help you? So that was like a really big, like, yay moment for me because he gets it to a point, but not really. So that was like something for me that I was like, yes, it's like, okay, I just need to sit down and kind of like map it out for him because he gets confused with all the different teams and what all that is about. But so why not me? Why can't I share with him the success that I want to have with it and then make it happen? I don't know, I had a lot of different things, but then just like continuing to be authentic and be yourself and share your struggles, share your wins, because the things that you struggle with are probably 10 or 20 other people out there having those same struggles. So that's who you are going to relate to. And yeah, that is impressive for Dad, Hannah. So yeah, I guess, I don't know. I have so many different pages to go through and kind of go from. So, but those are just like my main takeaways. And it was nice to actually meet people in person since I wasn't able to make it up to Teresa's house last week before Summit. I had a great road trip with the girls. Like, who knew 18 hours in a car together with 5 girls would be so much fun? But it was a lot of fun and we made a lot of really good memories.
That is so awesome. Okay, I have to tell you this because you know when you know people through the internet or whatever and you meet them in person for the first time, I think I looked at Chelsea like 5 separate times while we were in Summit or at whatever in New Orleans. I'm like, she is like so pretty. Her skin is like flawless. I'm not kidding. Like I swear every time I like was talking, I'm like, oh my gosh, like you're stunning. And it's funny over the internet, you know.
I felt like I was a sweaty mess no matter what. I was like, it's pointless to do my hair or makeup because I walk somewhere and it's just back to a sweaty, showered, disgusting mess.
I kind of felt like that today. I'm like, what's the point of doing my hair? I showered and threw it back on top of my head. I'm like, I'm just going to keep rolling with this New Orleans thing as long as I can.
Yeah.
Oh, buddy. Okay. Patricia.
All right. So I
cut out for a little bit. I missed just talking. My phone died. So weird. It's like I'm still in New Orleans, right? I don't know. Something's happened to the battery, I think. But yeah, Summit was awesome. You know, I started coaching in February. And then like when I would see posts about tickets were up, you know, to, you know, transfer them. At first I didn't think anything of it. Like, why would I do that? I have no idea what I'm doing, or I just started out kind of thing. Like, that's for other people. That's not for me. And I am so happy that I did it because first off, I love traveling. Awesome, great excuse. But second, like, it just is eye-opening. And I think one of the things, like, you know, I think it was Alice that said, you know, 2-star diamond by next summit. Like, I was in the diamond masquerade, like the push for that to get to the masquerade party. And I really wanted to be diamond. I really wanted to. But it's so different when you're there and you're like, first off, seeing what you're missing out on. When our roommate Kelly was going and she had this awesome experience, and then we get to hear about it, but it's not the same. You're not there. It's that you're missing out on it. And then secondly, like to think like, why just diamond? Why am I just pushing to diamond? Why didn't I get there? And how do I get to that next spot? So I think being at Summit, if you're questioning it for next year, like, yes, just say yes now. Like, you're going to go, because otherwise there's no point in you really being here, because you're not doing your 2 feet in. You're just kind of halfwaying it. So I know it's logistically, it's crazy. It's a mess. I was pumping the whole time. And actually, I have to tell you this. I came back thinking I was going to be done breastfeeding then. And Reginald like ran to me, gave me a hug, and it was so sweet, and like didn't lift up my shirt or anything. Like, I was like, look at that. We're good. Like 5 minutes later, he was screaming, and I was like, oh, okay, well. So close, but he did sleep till 5:30 last night, and so that was good. So baby steps, and we'll get there.
That's good though, because you were kind of pushing, because you're like, I've never self-weaned before, and I'm kind of sad about having to do that in order to go to Summit. Like, if you've breastfed before, you know what like a mind game that whole ending process is. So for you to go, continue to pump the whole time you're there, which is not easy. I did it last year. It is a pain in the butt. And then to go home and still have that, that's really cool.
Yeah. So there's definitely that parts where, you know, I feel good about that. So I guess I'm saying, like, I know it can be difficult. I know you might be saying in your head, well, I can't go. There's no way I can. Like, just figure out a way to do it, because I think it's worth it. Besides the awesome friendships that you gain from it, the takeaways from it content-wise, one of the things that stuck out with me is what we already talk about, and it's that sharing your story. Like, we all have a story to tell. Maybe it's not a tragic one, but it's something that you have, and it's something that other people can connect with. And when you're sharing your story, then you're not selling, because then you're not pushing products. You're just telling who you are, and people are getting to know you and they trust you. And it's about building that. So a lot of it, you know, was reiterations of what we've already heard from our awesome upline. And then just hearing it again, and maybe hearing it in a different way, that it sticks with you then. So that was great. I really liked attending the Compound Effect seminar, because the Rock the Basics, that whole training, that's the book that they use. And so you're like, wow, that's the first book I read on personal development when I was in this business, and now I'm hearing this guy speak. Like, that for me was really powerful. And everything he says makes sense. And so even when Kelly was talking about, you know, your big vision, your goals, and then you have to break it down to figure it out ultimately what you're going to do today. Because yes, it's all of those little things that you do each day that will lead up into that big picture. And so that was good. And also with like it goes also to tracking. Like, I felt like it led into tracking. Tracking is something I don't do at all, and now I need to do. And I feel like I'm kind of starting it with the Shift Shop meal plan, because I haven't ever followed a meal plan before. So now that I'm doing it, like, this is whole like mentally challenging. But I think it falls into those small decisions every single day. And then talking about the why not me, which is a huge takeaway, right? Like, every single person, like, I don't know how many thousands of people were in there, is thinking the same thing. Like, why not me? I should be up on those stages. And so if you're thinking like, I don't have a chance then, because everyone else is thinking that same thing. But the difference goes back to those small habits, because life gets in the way again. maybe you don't have time to go through your notes is what you're thinking, because I'm a bit thinking that myself, right? But we have to go back and reflect on like where our energy is now and connecting into our team and the people that were there with us, so we can feed off of that energy to keep us going so that we don't lose that momentum. And I finally, I had forgotten my notebook, which is like the most ridiculous thing, right? And we were just so busy that whole time there that I never had a chance. So I have all of these little notes from the hotel, Intercontinental. Every day I'm writing on these itty bitty notes. And so I get to the hotel or the airport and about a $15 notebook. But I don't know if you can read it. I wrote a little note to myself because I was feeling really maybe low on sleep, but like feeling really like, dear Patricia, may this guide you and remind you. Love, Patricia. Because the big thing was like, I needed to be my path to go, because I needed to remind me of where I am right now and where I want to be. And so I was going to, and I like that the first quotation is take me someplace I've never been, because I think that this business can definitely take you there, and that we just have to grab onto the opportunity that is presenting itself so we can do it. But I fully intended to copy down my notes, but I ended up just starting off with my why. And I think because of like hearing all the inspiration and getting all the content and about the vision, everything that you need to do, like I really refocused my why and didn't have it like oh, hey, if I can make a couple $100, that's great. You know, like no pressure. Like I really dug in and got in my why. And then when I kept talking about like this, like if I can do this, and then I was like, I need to define, what is this? Like, what am I saying that I'm doing? So I ended up like furiously scribbling my heart out. I have one called Dream Big, and like that, you know, kind of takes it to where I want to go. Here's another cute quote. I do believe it's time for another adventure, right? Hey, Summit. So and if anyone has seen my posts that I do on Facebook, my biggest struggle is that I rewrite it and I go over it again and again. So it takes me forever because they're so long. And this one I just wrote from my heart and wrote what I really was feeling about the business. And I feel really good about it. And it's not something to really like share, like not that I can use it, but it's for me to come back to, so that when I'm feeling like I don't really want to do this anymore, this is really hard, so I'm just going to take a break today, that I go back and I stick to it. So I would say the biggest takeaway from Summit is knowing that I can do it and being inspired to actually do it.
Mic drop. I love that you wrote your why in the beginning of your notebook, because I feel like every single person went back to, you know where you're going. Like Kelly said, know your why, not just like, I want to help people get fit and healthy. Yeah, no kidding. We all do, or we wouldn't be here. But why? Why is that important to you? Why would making extra money be important to your family? What could you do with that? Could you, instead of going on vacations, maybe you're already someone who goes on vacations, could you fund a 5-star luxury vacation because of this? It's not selfish to have those goals and aspirations for yourself. I too thought about the whole story thing, like what is my story? Because that's something I struggled with. I'm like, I feel like I have to have this horrible, tragic childhood in order to like connect to people's pain points and make my story sound better. And that's always something I kind of was struggling to put together, because my mom and dad love me, like they got divorced, but to me that was just normal. But it's like, that's the stuff they're talking about. I told the girls, I'm like, I grew up in the top of a bowling alley, and like, I guess when people think like, share your story, that was my story, but to me that felt normal. But to look back at where I started, living on top of a bowling alley and riding my tricycle around a bowling alley, like growing up and playing dolls on a dance floor in a bar, because that's where I grew up, I never once thought to like share any of that, or like how I could share that. And so that really struck a chord with me too. Like, you don't have to have this horrible story or event happen to you in order to dig a little bit deeper into your story. It's just looking back at your past and looking where you're going and knowing where you want to go and sharing that with people, because people don't dream big. They don't think beyond tomorrow or the next weekend. And because of this business, we're all being, pushed to do that. And I think it's really cool if you can actually connect with your why, be confident in who you are as a coach and what you're inviting to, and knowing that it's not about you, it's about who can you help put their kid in ballet lessons. Who can you invite to this business that this could literally be game changing for them and their family's future. So taking it beyond ourselves and us being nervous to invite people, but being confident in what this can potentially do for somebody. So I love that. Okay, so it's 9:03 and I said we'd get done early, but it's just so good, so much content. I didn't miss anybody, did I? It's kind of hard. People are like jumping off and on, and I hope I didn't miss anybody. I don't think I did. Okay. All right, well, cool. I'll share this recording. Now that I said the veto thing, I feel bad. I don't want him to see that, but that's what happened, and I feel like you guys should know that, just in case you're wondering. Or if you're feeling like you're being sold to by any of his other coaches, which they're creating their brands, and that's kind of what they're doing too. So don't feel obligated to buy anything from anybody in this business. You have a good upline. Your upline has a good upline. We've got this. We've got everything we need here. You don't need to pay for it from other places. So just keep that in mind if you feel maybe you're getting emails or whatever. But anyway, thank you again to everybody who came. And for those of you who are like, I don't know, it seems, like a lot of money, or it seems like scares the crap out of me to even think about going, or I don't know who I'd room with, or this or that, just trust your gut and go. And you can always transfer your ticket at the last second if you really want to. But I can tell you, I think this is a game changer for a lot of us who went, is just hearing that content, knowing what's possible, seeing what's possible, and then just doing it. 90% of the people at that conference won't take action when they get home. But I think that there's a few people on this call that have definitely changed and are ready to go for it. I love how you said, why just Diamond? So true. Being there and seeing those people and hearing Mindy Wender and where she started, and her daughter was diagnosed with autism and was told she'd never talk again. And because of this business and the flexibility it had, it gave her power to work with her daughter. And now she's talking and walking, and her mom's a multimillionaire from a little town in Michigan because of this business. So it was just very inspiring and motivating, and kind of crushed any negative or looking at all the roadblocks on the way. Every single successful person I heard speak started from a really crappy place. Darren Hardy, came from his mom, gave him away, didn't want him, gave him to the dad, and just said see ya, didn't care about him. The dad married someone else, and then he really was just kind of left to figure out his life on his own. And now he's speaking on stage in front of millions of people, and I don't know, it's just crazy. And then Brendan Bouchard, same thing. His heat got turned off in the middle of winter, and they lived in a really cold, I forget what state, but he's like, we camped in the middle of my living room, and my mom put sleeping bags in there, and we just thought it was fun. And looking back now, my mom was doing that so we didn't die, and their house was just kind of falling apart, and he just said he had every single reason to not succeed in life. And he got in a car accident, and he said he remembers looking down at the blood pouring off of him, and then looking up and thinking this cannot be my life, and started from that day rewriting his story. So anybody on this call can do that. And if you feel any sort of inspiration from me recapping that in a really crappy way, just imagine being in a stadium with these huge in front of you and these people pouring their hearts out that have made it, that have gotten past that doubt and fear and the haters and all that scary stuff that happens between starting and being successful. And it was just really, really powerful. So I hope that this, helped you guys decide if you're going to go next year. I would love to see everybody there. And if, if there's certain things getting in the way, reach out and just make it happen. So, okay, guys, hope you have a good night. I'll let you get off. Spend time. See you later. Thanks.